Hello, my name is Cinder, and this is devlog number 3 for Gaslight. I just want to start off by apologizing for the sound quality. It may be a little messed up. You may hear some echo. You may hear my chair squeak. I'm just in a new, I moved recently, so I need to, figure out how to balance my audio and all of that all over again. What I'm mainly going to be talking about for this video is AI. So this is my little test model that I have. She's got some IK on the head tracking, and she'll follow you around if you get close to her. She basically reminds me of the robots from Alien Isolation, how they kind of have plasticky monotone skin, and they'll follow you around because usually skin has a large variety of colors in it. And I just didn't put that much effort into it. I probably spent a week working on the model, rigging it, doing some base animations. The animations look terrible. I really regret that. But she has a little idle and she has a walk, and she'll follow you around. Her head will follow you wherever it goes after the initial animation that rotates it towards you when you first walk up to her. And this would normally be pitch black in the actual game, but recording software, I turned the gamma up a little bit so that you can actually see things, because YouTube usually darkens things quite a bit. So she is pretty simple. I just wanted to figure out a workflow for adding cloth to characters and making the cloth mirror the rigging on the skin. So that's basically what she is. She's basically just a little test model. I used her for the little base AI that I have set up. She has pretty simple functionality right now. She has a speed. She moves between her animations. She'll track you. She has a look target. What else? She has a move target, which is basically built into Unity. But for the stuff that you can't see, for instance, right there, that's some of the stuff that you can't see. I'm actually working on a whole new AI system. And I mentioned, I think in maybe my first video and one of the other ones, that I've been working on this whole project for over a year, just learning little things that I need to know to do certain things in Unity, things like this. And right before I started doing these devlogs and before I put it up on Greenlight, I completely got rid of everything I had for AI, because my original plan was basically just to get something that works, have an AI that worked. I basically had the same functionality I have right now, plus a little bit more, and that wasn't really working for me because I didn't really have it set up to scale with any system. So essentially, it was just a completely isolated AI that can't really interact in any meaningful way with anything. So for the rest of the video, I'm just going to be talking about what my AI plans are, what goes into making an AI, how I'm going to make that interact with systems, how I'm going to individualize each of the characters. So this is the essential AI functionality. This is broken into two parts. It's general and it's personality, and the general is basically just how it exists in the world of the game. So it has a name, as in the actual name of the objects that are in play, which is the NPC 1, that kind of thing. Has health, so that determines whether or not it's alive in the world. Speed, which determines how it moves in the world. Point of interest, which determines where it's going to go. Object of interest, I want the AI to be able to interact with specific objects. If they, for instance, if you're trying to distract someone, you throw something, they're going to be more interested in the object than they are going to be interested in a specific point in the world. Connection actions, which are very common in pretty much all games. This is like when somebody walks up, or steps upstairs, walks up a little ledge, climbs over a railing. Those are just connection actions that you need to be able to have. You need to be able to have your AI to be able to interact with what is usually a link point in the world, or any variation of that. And then I have tangential things. These are things you would see on a D&D character sheet that are maybe going to be used by systems, but are just more descriptive of the character, that, I just need a numeric value in the code, so that way in case I need this value, I can draw it out. So that's things like the actual name of the character, for things like UI, age, for weight, height, wealth. So the age would determine maybe how fast something moves, maybe whether or not somebody dies of old age during a game session. That can be randomized, if you know what I mean. Maybe when everyone reaches a certain age, they die that way, and some people are naturally placed closer to that boundary than others. And then the personality side of the AI functionality is split into two categories as well. That's superficial and actually personal. So superficial is just anything that anybody that lives around you would know about you. So that's job, that's your relationships, and that's your skills. So everybody knows what you're good at, everybody knows what you do for them in the community, and then everybody knows who you're friends with, who you date, who you're married to, that sort of thing. And then personal, which is the things that people wouldn't know about you. So that's how much resolve people have. So this is going to determine how much they stick to their goals, which is the overarching agenda, how much they stick to whatever their next task is going to be, which is what I'm going to talk about when I talk about the basic AI system that I'm working on that's going to control all the AI. And then you have the goals themselves, which is the overarching agenda. So if you have somebody in the town that maybe is just looking to get rich, or somebody in the town that's just looking to, maybe they just want to cause mayhem, you know what I mean? Maybe they just are kleptomaniacs and they just want to steal little things from people's houses when they're at work. And then you have biases, which are things that people either have an affinity for or what they particularly hate. So if you have a certain personality trait or you exhibit a certain personality trait that other people are really disliking of for whatever reason, maybe personal reasons, maybe historical reasons, then that's going to come through in the biases, and that's going to interact with the system to determine how they act. Vices, which are going to be negative things that people will gravitate towards. So people like to gamble, or people have debts. These are kind of the things that you can learn about and use to leverage information out of people, or really whatever you want. It's just one more thing that will change how each of the AI interact with one another. And then you have fears. So this is going to be another sort of like leveraging thing, something that you can learn about, and it's going to change how people act. So if people are scared of maybe the open desert, and they're not going to leave the safety of their home or of the small town, and other people that don't have that fear may be more inclined to do that. And then there's the whole AI system, which is where, why, and when. This is what all of the AI are going to consult for their specific, what they do in a given moment. They're going to consult this system for their specific tasks, why they're doing it, and when. And these are all going to be modified based on the attributes I talked about previously in the AI functionality. So there's the when, which is they're going to have access to all locations, they're going to have their favorite locations, and they're going to have mandatory locations. And mandatory locations are things like their home and their job. Those would be like mandatory locations. Or maybe if you want to make it some sort of characterizing moment, like maybe somebody visits their father or their mother in the graveyard every single Friday, that's a mandatory location. These are locations that are going to be static for their schedule no matter what. And then you have luxury locations, which again these are just for characterization. So if they maybe particularly like to go out to the well or something like that and smoke a cigarette, these are just small things that are unique to them. The why is going to be immediate need, which there's only one. This is going to be the exact task that they're going on to next. There's the eventual needs. So let's say an eventual need is that they need to eat at 2 points of the day, or else they're going to be, hungry, or they're going to die, that kind of thing. So an eventual need may become an immediate need if, say, you need to buy food later. So they will plan to get more food, and then that'll help them resolve in another eventual need, which is the desire for food. And then there's community needs. So like if somebody fires a gun in the middle of town, that's a community need. So everyone's going to tell one another about this, and they're going to work together to congregate and try to solve that issue. If there is like a fire at the bar or something like that, they're going to communicate with one another, and they're going to try to solve that need. So community needs, eventual needs, those can both take precedence over one another depending on the situation. And then there's specific tasks. This is things like doing your job. So this would be like actually do this one specific thing. So if you're a blacksmith, that would be like make a horseshoe right now. And then there would be a way for them to make that their immediate need, and then they work on that one task for that moment. Or maybe they need to, fix a squeaky door, that kind of thing. So these would all be specific to each of the characters and what their skill set is, which is another thing that I talked about in the AI functionality, is their actual skills. And then finally there's the when, which is a schedule that each character will adhere to. So the way I'm going to divide this up is into blocks. So there's going to be day and night, and for the most part, it's going to be divided up by maybe hours, maybe every 10 minutes, something like that, of when you'll go to a certain location. Like you have a job from this block to this block, and so for those whole blocks, other than maybe like a lunch break in the middle, you'll go to that place and you'll do your job, and that'll be your specific task for that moment. And there will be task types, so like I said, jobs, or maybe food, maybe shopping. There could be, entertainment needs, that kind of thing. That could be a task type. And so they'll have blocks where they look for entertainment, and they'll have blocks where they look for food, they'll have blocks where they try to achieve their job. And then there's varying levels of importance for all of these. So for instance, if you give a character just nothing but a whole block of doing their job from, midnight to midnight, 24 hours, the importance of food is going to be higher than the job. So once they get to a certain threshold with their hunger, they're going to ignore their other task, which is to do their job, and they're going to go and solve their need for food. So importance is important for making the AI actually keep themselves alive, or maybe helping the player could be of higher importance than some of their other tasks. Like if they're on an entertainment block, then maybe they'll prefer to be helping you or to explain something to you. So overall, this is my AI basic functionality for each individual character, and then the overarching system that's going to be giving them the information they need to interact with the world and to seem like an actual person. So the reason why I'm going into such depth for this AI, why I'm going to be working on this for the next month. This is going to be my project. I'm going to be working on setting up the locations. I'm working on doing a different, like a custom object type in Unity, using scriptable objects to make like locations, and have locations have like a stored object type and have data associated with them. And I may do that for like each one of these, like each of the mandatory locations, favorite locations, luxury locations. There will be certain things that will just be tagged with information of which kind of location they can be. And it's very important to be working on AI for this, because more or less character interaction and getting information is the primary interaction of the game, mixed with survival, which ties very closely to, getting information and doing the tasks that you want to be doing. So having a really robust AI system, as well as having this system be able to interact with other systems in the game, things like enemy AI, that kind of thing, all need to be as dynamic as possible. So overall, there's really two ways that you can approach AI. There's two main ways that people do approach AI for games like this. There's the way that's kind of apparent in The Sims, where all you do is give people needs and desires, and then you give them ways to fulfill those, and then you give them a hierarchy of which ones are important, and then you just kind of let them go and interact with whatever they want. That doesn't require very much of a schedule, though they usually have a schedule, but the reason why that doesn't really apply here is because you need to be able to have times when you know where to find certain people, which wouldn't necessarily happen in a completely procedural interaction system like that. But the one I'm gravitating more towards is the one you'll see in like Skyrim or the old Elder Scrolls games like Fallout 3 and more Oblivion, where there's a set schedule for each person, and then there's ways for them to deviate from that schedule depending on other systems that are in play in the game. So having a block schedule is what I'm focusing on right now. It may become more procedural in the future, but for now I'm going to be working on implementing this system and this AI functionality for now. And next month I should probably have basically a way for each of them to go through their 5 main states. So every AI right now, whether they're enemy or ally, I'm just going to be giving them 5 states right now. So you have an idle state, which is you just not moving and not interacting with anything. Then you have a routine state, which means that you're going through your daily routine, you're trying to do your job, that sort of thing. And then a searching state, so if you need to find food, that kind of thing, so that's a searching state. Or if you kill someone, and then they'll be in the searching state looking for you, or for looking for the person who's missing, that kind of thing. They have a chase state, so that's when they've found something of interest and they need to actually go and acquire it. And then they have an attack state, so if they're trying to defend themselves, or if they're trying to harm someone else, that would be in their attack state. So right now I basically only have the idle state and the chase state implemented in a very basic way. So next month I plan to have at least the routine, the chase, and the idle all like robustly laid out with this AI system. which I've already started on now. So I really just needed to have time to work on it over the next month. And if you have any questions about any of this stuff, feel free to hit me up. Right now it's in a very flexible state. I haven't completely coded all of this, although I have like a base series of inheritance scripts set up. So if you notice anything that might be a pitfall for me in the future, please let me know, and I'll be sure to change it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Bye. On it.